I just wanted to ask you a little bit about guitars. I actually got to play one of your guitars in L.A. last year. It's a 37 Hauser.
Yes.
Incredible guitar with the tornavos.
Yes.
I heard about those, but I'd never seen one or played it, and it's got this huge bass that just kind of woofs out of the guitar. Now, you've got a pretty legendary guitar collection. Can you just talk about some of the... I know it's hundreds or dozens of guitars. Could you talk about how
Yes, I have some beautiful Lacottes, Panormos. Those are my oldest. And Juan del Castillo. These are the pre-Torres guitars. But my main collection and what I really enjoy collecting are the guitars that I would play in concerts. And that begin with Torres. And I have 3 very beautiful Torres, one from 1856, another from 1863.
I'm sorry, let me shut this door. I'm hearing the noise of this guy talking out here.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. So you want to begin from the beginning?
Yeah. Just talk a little bit about your amazing guitar collection, how you've gotten that over the years, and some of the...
My collection includes a few pieces from pre-Torres by Panormo and Juan del Castillo, a very famous French maker that Fernando Sor used to play.
Yeah, that's like around early 1800s.
Yes.
1830s.
Yes.
Lacotte.
Yeah. Lacotte.
Yeah.
But what I really collect are guitars from Torres to the present day. And I have several Torres from the period of Sevilla. I have 2, one in maple and one in rosewood, and the other one is in cypress from the second epoch. In Almeria, I have various Santos Hernandez, Domingo Esteso. Recently, I acquired a beautiful Manuel Ramirez from 1912.
Oh, my goodness.
And several Hausers from the first, from the second, and from the third, and then many Rodriguezes. I have more than 30 guitars from Miguel Rodriguez, who is the maker that I have played. Throughout my career, I have played the majority of my concerts and made the majority of my records on guitars of Miguel Rodriguez from Cordoba. And now I have an in-house luthier. My son is making wonderful instruments. And this tour, I'm playing on a guitar that he made last December. And it's a cedar top and European maple. And it's a wonderful instrument.
So that's got to be a great resource for him. You know, of course, having Dad as a great player with this awesome collection, and having all these great guitars to kind of examine.
Yeah. Well, he himself is a wonderful player. So he knows exactly what he wants a guitar to do as a player. And I think that is very helpful when a guitar maker knows what he wants from a guitar. And, of course, having the opportunity to examine the guitars of the great masters makes it tremendously important. Plus, he studied first with Dave Trapegan, a wonderful maker in Washington. And then he went to Spain and studied with Romanillos, with Miguel Rodriguez before he passed away, and with Edmund Blochinger, a great guitar maker from Germany, very much in the style of Hauser the First.
And
but you had a chance to play my 37 Hauser.
I did. It's I won't broadcast this part, but actually a fan of my show who's now one of my students. He's actually a very successful guy who made his fortune at Dell. He came into his lesson and said, I've got a couple of proposals for you. He said, help me shop for a guitar. I'll pay all your travel expenses. We'll go anywhere in the U.S. And, he said, I'm looking for a concert level guitar. So I was like, yeah, let's go. I said, absolutely. We'll do this and this and go to this place. And, and I just kind of rambled on. And then he said, well, the second part of my proposals is while we're at it, I'll get one for you too. So he bought me Sergio Assad's Humphrey. So he goes, here you go.
That's unbelievable.
I know.
What did he end up getting?
Well, he got a Humphrey also. We got 2 of them, but we played. The Hauser was a little bit out of the price range.
Yes. I actually sold it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Because my collection is so big that I cannot just keep on buying, and a lot of the time I trade guitars. And there were a couple of instruments that I really wanted to get, and including an earlier Hauser.
Earlier than 37?
1927.
Wow.
My favorite Hausers that I have ever played have been 1927, 1928, and 1929. And Angel has a 1925.
Wow.
I like very, very much that earlier part of Hauser when he first was influenced by the guitars by the Torres of Miguel Llobet. And later he started going thinner, but on these ones he had a mix of the German style with the thicker tops and the shapes of Torres that through the years have blossomed, and they're wonderful instruments.
Now, I've heard it said by some guitarists, and you would be a perfect person to ask this. I've heard this said many times that for most guitars, they have a lifespan of about 50 years, unlike a violin, which can last for hundreds of years, and then the sound dies. What's your take on that?
I cannot imagine Torres sounding even as good as they do now when they were new. They are absolutely in perfect concert condition, sounding magnificent. Manuel Ramirez, early 1900s. Santos Hernandez, 1930s. Hermann Hauser, I just spoke of 1928. Lacotte, 1830s, in great condition. And Garcia's, it depends if the maker knows how to make the guitar properly and balance the mass of the wood with the doming and with the proper bracing and the right neck angle. A guitar should last much more than 50 years. And the proof is I do concertize periodically on my Torreses. And if you look at my 1856 Torres, is in perfect condition, and it's not because it has been repaired. It's hardly repaired at all. And it's in perfect condition. The top has not sunken in at all. My Santos Hernandez's guitars last a long time. The problem does not lie with the guitar. The problem lies with the guitarist. A great majority of guitarists don't think of the guitar as something that they are preserving for history, preserving for future generations. And they have not learned how to take care of guitars. I see so many mistreated instruments, and they scratch them and then they take them to be refinished, and the guitar maker does not repair with the integrity of the instrument in mind, but rather to make it look like new. So they sand away half of the top, and then they repair it. After 2 times, the top is paper thin, and of course, the guitar has been killed. But a guitar that has been properly taken care, and I remember growing up in Spain, and the guitarist took great care of their instruments. They wiped them after they were done. They made sure that they always had very, very clean and dry hands when they played them. They wore cloth to protect the varnish. And a guitar that is well taken care of, just like a cellist would take care of his cello or a violinist of his violin, it will last many, many, many years, centuries.
I thought that's what you would say. Speaking of taking care of guitars, if you're playing on, like, say, a Torres from 1830s, and those are smaller body guitars to begin with.
Yes.
And of course, playing the guitar is a lot different than playing a violin or cello, obviously, because you have your left hand touching the instrument directly. Your right hand, with the cello or violin, is playing a bow. But on the guitar, you're strumming and plucking the strings. It seems like there's a lot more potential for damage.
Of course
to the
there
guitar.
is. Of course there is.
So how, just through normal playing, is this something you're aware of or something you're concerned about when you're playing? Like, oh my gosh, if I hit a stray note that hits the top, my fingernail makes a scratch. That's $2,000 off the value of the guitar.
That's right. Well, if you develop your technique and you refine your technique and you stay close to the strings, to make more beautiful sounds, you should be close to the strings, and the motions should be minimal. just enough to move the strings and to release them. So most of the damage comes from uncontrolled movements. So it's much better to refine your technique and play with grace and with beauty and with movements that are not exaggerated. It's when you exaggerate the movements.
Or get excited.
That's right.
Well, even when you do, rasgueados, like sometimes, tapping on the guitar, that's got to cause some scratches. And for the rest of us mere mortals, besides Pepe Romero,
there are places where you can tap and ways in which you can tap without damaging the varnish.
without hitting the nail.
Using the back of the nail, but not in a scratching movement. But I just flatly refuse to tap in a way that I'm going to scar the instrument.
Now, about your collection, do you ever have like favorites that you kind of go to more often?
I do. Through my life as a player, my first concert was with the 1909 Jose Ramirez. Then I quickly moved to Santos Hernandez, 1939. And I played that Santos Hernandez of 1939 until I got my Miguel Rodriguez in 1958.
That was the La Wonderful?
No. That was my 1958 Miguel Rodriguez, which I played it until 1969 when I got a gorgeous Hermann Hauser II. And I played my 1969 Hermann Hauser until 1973 when I got La Wonderful. And I played La Wonderful until 1995 when my father became ill and he gave me his guitar, and then I felt very drawn to play on his instrument, which is a 1974 Miguel Rodriguez. And I've played that one until recently, that I've been playing very much on my son's guitars. Of course, during those years, I've played many other guitars, but these were the ones that accompanied me in 90% of my concerts. La Wonderful was the 1973 Miguel Rodriguez.
Probably the most recorded guitar in history, I think.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I believe it is.
That's pretty cool. Do you recall, maybe this is an impossible question, which guitar you played on your father's Guitar Concerto Concierto de Malaga?
La Wonderful.
Ah, I love that in the cadenza, that guitar just sounds so meaty.
That's
just so punchy. That's just like the archetypal sound.
Yeah, that guitar is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's really a magical instrument.
Yeah. Well, I think they want you to be live to do the other one.
Excellent.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Great.
So sorry, Tony.
No.
That's another hour. There's a Beethoven